Hey, Shalom Israel. Did you know that according to the Bible that God didn't decide to flood the earth because there were angels in heaven that had the idea in their mind to rebel against him and to come to earth and have intercourse with women that brought about the so-called race of giants? That idea is actually false. The notion of that makes no sense at all. And where it came from is actually by your so-called experts that say that they know the Bible, and by doing research, your conspiracy theorists, Christians, to where when they would read the book of Genesis, the sixth chapter, they would see the sons of God. They will assume that it's speaking about angels when there is angels nowhere mentioned in Genesis, the sixth chapter. They will assume by reading the term giant and will come up with the attack of the Titans. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the context of Genesis, the sixth chapter. I'm going to break it on down for you, word by word, and actually show you that it was not, in fact, angels who end up deciding to rebel against God and come to earth and bring about a race of people that once walked the earth. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into Genesis, the sixth chapter. I'm going to pull up here on my screen. Okay, so here's Genesis, the sixth chapter right here. It says in verse 1, and it came to pass when men, notice it says men, not angels, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Now, the sons of God here in the context of the scripture is speaking about the sons of Adam, because it was Adam at the very beginning to where he was the one that was eating from the tree of life, which was him receiving the laws, statutes, commandments from God to be holy and righteous. Now, the sons of God here is speaking about the sons and the lineage and the men of the lineage of Adam, who also upheld the laws, statutes, commandments which Adam received. Now, they end up falling off from the grace of the Most High God and by having intercourse with women that was not of their own race, who followed different doctrines. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to keep reading. It says, I'm actually going to start again at verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men. Notice it doesn't say angels. If it was angels that was the very cause of this, of how God flooded the earth, it would have said that. But here it says men. All right. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare to them children. Now the giants here in the context of the scripture is just speaking about men who were just very famous, men who were very, very renowned, who had a high status. It's just like how today in society, to where you see somebody and you say, man, you big, you a giant, you a star, you know. So when it comes down towards the context of the scripture here, I'm also going to share with you here as well the Hebrew lexicon for the term giant, as it pertains toward Genesis, the sixth chapter. Okay, so now what we have here is a Hebrew lexicon behind the word giant, and it says as follows: rendered great, large in body. But this is incorrect, for it means excellent, excellent, noble, and skillful. All right, excellent, noble, and skillful. That's what the term giant means. And even also when you read further in the scripture, it's also going to say the exact same thing for you. All right, so let me pull Genesis chapter 6 back up. Okay, this is Genesis the sixth chapter. I'm going to start again at verse 4, and it says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare them children, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown, which is exactly what I just brought out within the Hebrew lexicon pertaining towards the term giant in Genesis, the sixth chapter. It basically just means men of renown, men of old, meaning that these men were very famous, very renowned. They had a high status about how their condition of their life was back in the day. It doesn't mean that it was somebody that was 9'5". It doesn't mean there was somebody that stood over a house. You may have happened to have seen a lot of different videos online about archaeologists finding bones over in the Middle East near the Nile River, near the Dead Sea, to where it was some 25-foot giant, to where it was still well preserved. You don't get swayed by that information. It's actually false. There was nobody that even existed in history pertaining towards that size. Now, also as well, I also want to point out on the term giants, there was also no whole entire race of people that was of a great height towards that extent. It's very uncommon, but there are people that do exist to where they are 7'5", 8 foot height, 8 foot in height. Just like the same way, it's not that common, but there are people that exist that are so-called dwarfs or midgets to where they are 3'5". It's not so common, but those people do exist out there due to the condition that they have. But never in history, neither is it even in the Bible to where it was a whole complete race of these people that existed. That's something that is very false. Don't allow yourself to receive misinformation by people that call themselves experts in knowing the Bible, when angels is nowhere even mentioned here in the context of the scriptures. I'm also going to go ahead and pull one scripture as it pertains towards the sons of God that lets you know that it's really not talking about angels here in Genesis the 6th chapter. Okay, now here's the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 14. It says, "For as many are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God." Now, what man do you know in the very beginning who was led by the Spirit of God? Adam. He was led by the Spirit of God, and his sons was led by the Spirit of God as well, which is why they were called the sons of God. This is in the New Testament. So when it pertains towards Genesis the 6th chapter, as far as for the sons of God, is this actually speaking about the descendants of Adam who follow after the same culture that their father did, and by eating from the tree of life and by following the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, so I'm going to go back to Genesis chapter 6. Okay, so this here is Genesis the 6th chapter. I'm going to start again at verse 5 from the top. "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth." Now notice it says men, not angels. You got to very well pay attention towards what you're reading, because sometimes some people may see a scripture and their eyes can be telling them something different. All right, so, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." Verse 6. "And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart." Verse 7. "And the Lord said, I will destroy man, not angels, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." So this is the cause in which the Lord has flooded the earth. It was due towards the descendants of Adam, who fell from the grace of the Lord, and by wanting to have interrelational marriages with other women that was not of their own people, that follow a different doctrine. And this is the reason why the Lord flooded the earth, because these men who were of Adam lineage, who were called the sons of God, they were men who were righteous in the sight of the Lord until they fell off. So the notion that angels rebelled against the Most High God and brought about the flood is false. Your so-called experts that think that they know the Bible, that they don't know anything about the Bible. Even your so-called conspiracy theorists, you got people out there that has a whole lot of notoriety that makes a ton of videos about the Bible, but meanwhile it's all out of context. Make sure you follow the ISUPK online. We have classes every day. Go to www.isupk.com to find a school in your location. Get in contact with a camp leader so that way you can get the proper edification for what the Bible is actually intended for as it pertains towards our people, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That's my time, Israel. Shalom.